Now coming to Saturn. As I explained in the Sun part, Sun is the father and Chaya is the mother of Saturn. Now, since we already know there a lot of things went wrong when it came to Sun and Chaya, so Saturn had a very childhood, rough childhood. And during these times, Venus and Swara Bhanu, Venus and Swarabhanu helped Saturn a lot, especially during childhood. So, Saturn in his childhood, compared to all the other planets, faced a lot of mistreatment and had experienced a lot of bullying. And this eventually made Saturn very strong and very merciless. And the only people, okay, that will divert from the topic. Okay, Saturn. So, Saturn was bullied and had a rough childhood and is also a brother of Yama, a younger brother of Yama, the god of death. So, Saturn, since he experienced a lot of wrong things and learned a lot of things about everyone, he ends up becoming the governor of Karma. He is also known as Karmadipati. Karma's Adipati. So there are many stories related to Saturn, but for us, from astrological point of view, first Saturn, Saturn's enemy is Sun. Since because of Sun, he experienced a lot of this, and he harbors some hatred towards Sun. And Saturn and Jupiter. There's a small story about Saturn and Jupiter that shows how unforgiving Saturn is. Saturn is unforgiving. So, Saturn and Jupiter. In the story, basically, to summarize it, Jupiter doesn't do any wrong thing, but has some small amount of pride left in him because he was the guru of the Devas and he had a lot of reputation. To kill that pride, Saturn frames him as a thief, and Jupiter ends up getting framed and ends up learning a lesson from Saturn. Even though Saturn was the student of Jupiter, Saturn doesn't spare anyone, uh, even his own guru. And he is a great teacher of all the good things like being humble, down to earth, and all these things are taught by Saturn. And Saturn, because of a curse, he was ignoring, or not exactly ignoring, he was too involved in the worship of Shiva, and this happened because he wasn't initially the worshipper of Shiva, but he started worshipping Shiva after he became strong and went to conquer the heavens, and uh, uh, Indra had to leave his seat and everything. That Indra, being the king of Devas, had to leave everything. That is when Saturn uh, was sent to earth, or punished by Shiva, and that is when he realized, Saturn realized, there was a power beyond or stronger than him, and that is when he started worshipping Shiva, and he became an intense worshipper of Shiva, just like Venus. And when he was doing this, he was a bit detached from his marriage life, and that is when I believe he started. He got a curse where his drishti, or his gaze, or his vision became very, wherever he saw or whatever he saw, whoever he saw started experiencing bad things in their life. That is how, uh, you can call it bad in general. That is how Saturn developed the bad reputation the planet has, and people are scared because of this. And Saturn, uh, to explain Sadesati in simple words, Saturn has a phase where he comes over your mind and your body too, for a duration of 7.5 years. That is when the Saturn, being a very strict teacher, teaches you a lot of lesson. So you can see many people become very wealthy, rich, or have gain great reputation, or anything that Saturn represents in signifies in their chart. You can see people experience a lot of gains and a lot of losses of the things they had, and all these things happen because of the 7.5 years that Saturn governs. And this was the same phase that Jupiter also experienced, and Jupiter only experienced it for 2.5 days, I believe, because he was the guru, and he barely had anything wrong about him. uh, that is why Jupiter had a very short duration of Sade Sati. So I believe this covers a lot, or almost everything that is related to Saturn. So Saturn has experienced a bad childhood, and is the brother of the god of death, and he worships Shiva, and he has a vision that everyone sees as bad and tries to avoid it, and he's unforgiving, and he's karmadipati. And to give an example of vision, Ravana had tied up all the nine planets, I think, except Venus and Rahu Ketu, because they were also Asuric side. I believe he had tied up the planets and used them as steps, and they were turned upside down. Sorry, they were turned facing the floor. Their faces face the floor, and here Hanuman suggests Ravana, the king of Lanka at the time, to turn every planet's face facing up, so that he could see the faces of the planets he was stamping or stepping on. And this is when Ravana does as Hanuman suggests, and he turns every planet, including Saturn, he makes them lie down facing up. So once Saturn's gaze, the vision, meets Ravana, and after that Ravana's downfall starts. That is how powerful Saturn's gazes. And after a lot of tapas or sadhana of Shiva, he was also called as he was also called as Shanishchara. Shanish. That is Shani plus Ishvara. He is the only person, only planet, or only Bhakta to of Shiva to get the Ishvara Patta. Shaneshvara. Yes. This is. I think this covers almost everything about Saturn. Yeah.